So you know that saying that's like you can't love yourself or you can't love someone else before you love yourself. I that's not actually true. Um and I want to talk about it today. So I for background context here, I used to be someone who was incredibly codependent, to the point of where I would take care of everyone else around me because I needed to be needed, and I like incredibly codependent and incredibly hyper independent, where it was like I needed to be needed and I needed to take care of everyone else in order to feel like I had worth. And that led to some problems because I was just giving and giving and giving and not in a place to be able to allow people to support me in a mutually beneficial way. And I, it was so, it was problematic on many levels for many years. And that's something that I think about every single time that I hear this phrase about you can't love someone else until you love yourself. Because for so many years, I would argue with that. I was like, no, of course I can love someone else better than I can love me. Have you met me? Like, there's so much wrong with me. This is not me saying this now. This was past me. Like, the shame, the internalized shame and guilt and attaching all of my worth to all of the wrong things was very deep and very painful for many years. And so I had this perception of myself that like everything was wrong with me and that I didn't have any value as a person, and that the way that I got that value was to constantly be taking care of everyone else, to constantly be caring about everyone else, and to constantly being the shoulder to cry on for everyone else, to be the 3 a.m. friend who I might be sleeping, but sure, you can call me and wake me up if you're having a meltdown friend. I used to sit there and listen and let my friends dump on me. Friends, well, I'm still friends with some of them, but definitely not with some of the other ones. I was in a very wounded place, and I took people pleasing and codependency to a very unhealthy, harmful extreme. Because I was trying to get my worth from it, because I thought that I had to do that, because I thought that I had to take care of everyone else in order to be loved, in order to be enough, in order to be taken care of. And it didn't work like that. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. All it led to was burnout and resentment and exhaustion and like chronic pain, and just like getting to a certain point and then crashing and then trying again. And I mean, there was one friend where the codependency, I'm not going to get into all the details now, but it was bad. It was rough for both of us when I finally got to the point of being able to acknowledge that a boundary needed to be there, and had needed to be there for years at that point. Like we got into an argument, and mind you, this was not just this person taking, this was also me giving and giving and giving and not allowing them to support me back. And it got to a point of where we got into this big fight, and I called them a parasite, and then we didn't talk to each other for like probably somewhere between 8 months and 2 years. Time and memory is wonky, but it was a large chunk of time. And a few years passed, and I was still pretty deep in the trying to be perfect. I was still pretty deep in the trying to do everything just right and like not rock the boat. And still my inner critic was still very critical and very mean of myself, because I was still striving for perfection and still unable to reach it, and still taking care of everyone else around me. And I don't even remember what I was working on, honestly, but I was working on something, and I was working on something, and I was getting like really frustrated with myself, and like just being really mean and like harsh, maybe even cruel to myself with what I was saying. I was just getting really mad at myself because the project that I was working on wasn't working, and I couldn't figure it out, and so one of my friends just very casually but very firmly, she knew exactly what she wanted to say, and she was very rooted in her heart when she said it, and I appreciate this moment so much. I still remember it vividly after all of these years, because she just casually, firmly, like, she just casually looked over at me, because we were like in the same space. She just casually looked over at me and like very firmly, lovingly but firmly, was like, "Hey, please don't speak about my friend that way." And it like rearranged something in my brain enough that allowed me to reorient the way that I was thinking about myself in relation to other people. Quick pause here. One, because I need to drink more water, but also two, to do a visual. Description. So I am sitting on my bed wearing a purple shirt with rainbow colors and some books on it, and my Stitch plushie is joining me today. I have a purple and pinkish buff on, purple wall, other plushies, earphones, headphones, red stocking with a candy cane, and dark wall behind me. Okay, so she said, "Hey, please don't speak to my friend that way." And it was such a small moment, but it helped me to reorient. Like, it shifted how I was thinking about myself. It planted seeds of being able to see not just me caring about other people, but it planted seeds of me being able to see that other people cared about me as well. And it sounds so simple. Like, it sounds really simple when you say it out loud. But in that moment where she's like, "Please don't speak to my friend that way," like, before that moment, I knew that I had friends. Excuse me. I knew that other people considered me their friend, but, like, I didn't really think about what that meant, because I was so, if I'm being honest, I was so tied up in my bullshit. And so hearing her refer to me as her friend, and seeing her experiencing that little bit of distress about what I was saying to myself, suddenly it wasn't just me being mean to myself. It was little moments of thinking about myself in a more relational way, in a more, like, yes, I care about people and I call them my friends, I care about my friends, but it also gave me that second piece where, like, before that moment, I might have stopped at "I care about my friends," and after that moment, I was like, "I care about my friends, and my friends care about me." And so that, like I said, that planted seeds of it's starting to be easier for me to take care of myself because of being able to care about other people. And so, there was moments of like, I'm not going to hurt myself because it might hurt my cat. That's how it started after that initial conversation. My cat still is, but my cat was my anchor for not hurting myself for a while. Or it was like, I'm going to do everything that I can to come home in one piece so that my cat isn't left alone wondering what happened. Or like, I'm going to not say this mean thing about myself because even if I don't necessarily care about myself in this moment, someone that I care about cares about me and they might be hurt by knowing that I'm saying this to myself, which, again, sounds like it's a roundabout way of doing it, but it's not just the endlessly caring about other people. I had that part down. The endlessly giving and caring about other people only ever led me to burnout and exhaustion and resentment and pain and betrayal and arguments and all of these just really painful things. But when it was caring about other people and being able to see how they were caring about me, that brought it full circle for me in a way that allowed me to start caring about myself as well. And I know that my best friend also had a similar experience with this, where they were able to take better care of themselves because of not wanting to hurt their daughter, because of not wanting to hurt me, because of not wanting to hurt their grandparents. And so, like, there's nothing wrong with caring about other people. There's nothing wrong with even with taking care of other people. But if that's all that you're doing and you're not including yourself in that, then that's probably a part of, if you're feeling that exhaustion and that empathy fatigue in your relationships and that resentment, that's probably a part of why, because you haven't had the second piece of also being able to care about yourself. And like, now I'm pretty easily able to care about myself, and I'm pretty tuned in to my own needs. I'm pretty aware of my own needs and able to communicate them. And my baseline now is because I care about myself and I want to take better care of myself. But initially, I was not caring at all about myself. The way that I was able to start making that shift was by caring about other people and being able to have real proof, real feedback that other people cared about me, and letting that connection be what was motivating me to take better care of myself. Like, initially, I was not taking better care of myself for me. I was doing it for my friends. I was doing it for my cat. I was doing it for the people that are important to me. And through that, a byproduct of it became that I was caring about myself for my own sake. Because your subconscious doesn't actually know that other people exist. Your subconscious is only thinking about you. And so when you start to care for yourself, your subconscious isn't like, oh, I'm caring for myself because of these other people. It just understands, like, oh, I'm caring about myself more. And it was a gradual shift. It took many years, although it definitely got faster once I was able to see and understand that connection, that I was able to use the way that I was already caring about other people as a way to then also learn how to care about myself. Like, I guess you could say in some ways I was borrowing their care about me in order to care about myself as well, to be able to get to this point of where now I care about myself a whole lot. And you can too. So if anyone ever tells you that you can't love anyone else before you love yourself, and you want to argue with that, you can love other people long before you love yourself. And if you do it intentionally, you can use your loving other people as a way to reconnect and to love yourself. I hope that made sense. I'm going to stop talking because there are certain words that are starting to, like, I've said them too many times, and they're starting to not sound like words anymore. So, with that, thank you so much for watching. I love myself, and I can say that truthfully and mean it. I love you. I hope that wherever you are nourishing and replenishing yourself and your community. If you have anything extra to give, anything in overflow to give, and I hope that you are allowing your community to nourish and replenish you as well, because you are worthy. You are enough. And you are loved. I promise. Thank you so much for watching.